What's up, everybody, and welcome to our big game breakdown for college basketball, Saturday, January 31st. My name is Logan. With me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
What's up?
Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. We are going to run the gauntlet of the Saturday slate of games, give you our best bets. We'll recap how we did on Tuesday when we were both in studio. And yeah, we got to try to find some winners. We also will be back in studio tomorrow for those listening and interested for our Super Bowl episode, our biggest football episode of the year. We're giving you all of our best bets, sides, totals, props, the whole 9 yards. So be on the lookout for that. Tuesday, I know we went head-to-head on one, and that was Kentucky Vanderbilt. And, oh, my God. I got CLV on Kentucky, Vanderbilt's second leading scorer, which might as well – it's like 17 points a game, so I think he's nearly their leading scorer. Duke Miles, late scratch, right before tip. Didn't matter. Kentucky got their doors absolutely blown off, so much so that I was interested if they would have hung in there. I'm not on Kentucky, Arkansas, spoiler alert, but if they would have hung in there and even just gave Vanderbilt a game, I would have been eyeing down this spot on the road against Arkansas, Calipari, all of that. I don't want any part of it after what happened. I was shell-shocked. It was one of the worst performances I've seen all season.
Yeah, I think one of the things with Duke Miles being out was that Vanderbilt was able to play a little bit of a larger, taller lineup.
Yeah.
And it helped them win the rebounding battle, which I didn't expect to happen there because Kentucky's a big team.
Yeah, well, Moreno played so soft. Like, their bigs were obsolete, like just getting pushed around, and the physicality was a complete difference maker in terms of Vanderbilt was playing at a level of intensity and physicality that Kentucky was just unable to match. And it was, I don't know what, look, Mark Pope, it's only year 2, but the seat has got to be hot, especially when you see Calipari at Arkansas, number 15 ranked team in the nation. I don't know. That was a brutal way to end the night. We had Michigan as well, and who was it? Rank masked for Nebraska. I got to get my brain back on track because I had the game last night. The leading scorer for Nebraska was another late scratch, CLV. Money came pouring in on Michigan a little bit. Did not matter. I think it closed like 12.5, 13 maybe. We were laying 9.5. It didn't matter. They never had a chance. And then whatever the other one was, blanking on it, we lost. It doesn't matter. It was a brutal Tuesday. We bounced back with a winner last night, though, with Washington, Illinois under 153.5. You slow start to the season, obviously not a ton of plays, but you're sitting at 2-1, correct? So a good start. You have how many plays for Saturday?
2.
Okay, I have 3, maybe 4. I'll let you know as we get to it. What time's your first one?
11.
Okay, you can go ahead with it.
I'm going to go to Cincinnati and Houston, and
you know I love Houston.
I'm going to lay 13.5 with Houston. Cincinnati offensively, really bad, outside the top 200 in adjusted efficiency, outside the top 300 in three-point field goal percentage and free throw percentage. On the road, there's a big drop-off to an already bad offense, outside the top 300 in points per game. On the road, Houston defensively, number 9 in the nation in defensive efficiency, and at home, they're the number 1 scoring defense in the nation. So Cincinnati's last 3 away games, the defense hasn't really shown up for them much here. 77.3 points given up on average in their last 3 away games. And kind of look at Houston offensively lately. They've been putting up some points and getting the offense going a little more. One of the things I was looking at here is that the over's taking money. And it's like, well, why would the over take money here with 2 good defenses? It's like, well, maybe here you're expecting a little bit more output from Houston as they gain some offensive momentum. So I'm going to lay 13.5 with Houston.
Yeah, I looked at it for a little while. I certainly lean that way. I'll let you take the reins on that one. I'm not going to hop on it with you, but maybe I bet it on the side. Who knows? But yeah, I love Houston. I've loved Houston for a long time. I think Kelvin Sampson is one of the better coaches, if not the best coach in the country. He said it. He said it himself at the start of the year, where they have a lot of they're much younger now than they've ever been. You lost a lot of seniors last season and a lot of guys who had been there for a while. You got a lot of five-star freshmen now who are clearly getting more comfortable with the speed and the pace of play and the physicality. And Kingston Flemings is the real deal. He will be a one-and-done guy. Chris Sinak more than likely will be a one-and-done guy as well. But you can just tell they're getting much more comfortable. And it's weird. The offense, I'm invested on Houston to win the national championship, and so I watch every single game, and I'm just a fan of the program, like I said. But I don't understand the offensive identity sometimes where they'll just wait. They want to play slow. They want to rely on their defense. They want to force turnovers and get out and transition that way and pick up easy points in that department. But when they're in the half court, it just seems like there's a lot of standing around, and Milos Uzan will try to take his guy off the dribble. If he gets picked up, he kicks it out. They reset, and then it's Flemings or it's Emmanuel Sharp or somebody. Then they're trying to go one-on-one off the dribble, and then the shot clock gets down to the end, and then they kick it out and force up a three. And that's when you see Houston go stagnant on the offensive side of the ball, and I think they have to figure that out. The lack of identity and just overall objective on the offensive side, sometimes I'm scratching my head. But when they're clicking and when the shots are falling, they always are going to be able to rely on the defense, and they can beat anybody by 30 on any given night. So Emmanuel Sharp, in that first meeting with Cincinnati, if I remember correctly, had a horrible night shooting. I think it was 0 of 9 from the floor. If you can get a couple of hits, I lean Houston for sure. And I think they had an uncharacteristically good shooting night from Jizzle James, one of the top names in college basketball. You can't really rely on it. He might have been like 5 of 7 from the three-point line. So their leading scorer is Baba Miller. And look, you got JoJo Tugler. If he can stay out of foul trouble, JoJo Tugler's an elite defender, can guard every single position. He just can't do it without fouling, it seems. So if he can stay on the court out of foul trouble, points are going to be extremely difficult to come by for Cincinnati. So, and that was a big win for Houston on the road against a scrappy TCU team. If you had TCU, that was a brutal way to not cover on the last shot. But TCU was giving Houston all they could handle there for a little while, and then when it came time to go win the game, Houston did. So, yeah, I would lean that way for sure. My first play is going to be I'm going to go out of chronological order. I don't even know. For my first play, we're going to go to Texas on the road, taking on Oklahoma. So this opened at Texas, favored by 1.5. It's kind of bounced back and forth. It's looking like it's essentially a pick 'em, minus 110 on the money line either way. For what it's worth, looking at this one, Oklahoma's 1-7 in SEC play. They're not very good on the defensive side of the ball at all. That's their biggest problem. But I do like Xavier Brown and Nigel Pack. If you remember Nigel Pack, if you followed college basketball for the last 5 or 6 years, he was on Miami when they made a run in the tournament, and he's been around the block a number of times. So he's still out there able to get a bucket, and he's just a really good, experienced player. But Oklahoma has lost 7 games in a row. Texas has not won a game away from their home arena since November 25th. And that was a neutral site game against Chaminade in the Maui Invitational. They have not won a true road game this season. They're 3-5 in SEC play. Their defense is horrific. So you've got this game setting at a pick 'em for a reason. 2 really bad defenses. Texas's offense is better, but on paper. But like I said, that guard combination of Xavier Brown and Nigel Pack, rebounding is pretty much even, maybe a slight edge on the offensive boards for Texas. So that's going to be something that I'm keeping my eye on. If Oklahoma can hold their own in that category, I think that they can win this game. I just don't trust this Texas team on the road. And Oklahoma has been scrappy on their home court. You just saw them take Arkansas down to the wire. They gave them a scare. They had a lead late in that game. They led by 3 with 1:30 to go. So Arkansas just pulled it out at the very end. But then you saw them against Alabama on the home court. They lost by 2. So they took Mizzou on the road to overtime. So they've been playing better basketball as of late. Just hasn't amounted to wins yet. I think it's going to amount to a win tomorrow. So I'm going to take Oklahoma in a pick 'em. And I hope the home court plays a key role in this one. So Oklahoma money line for me. You have one more?
Yeah.
Okay, you can go with it.
I'm going to go to Bradley and Drake. Drake's a 1.5 favor here. I think these teams are pretty close. It's an even matchup. Drake's on a 3-game win streak, and in the first matchup, Drake really had a bad game offensively where they just didn't make a lot of shots, and they turned the ball over a lot, and they lost big time, 93-66. I think it's a little bit of an anomaly there. We're going to go ahead and take Drake minus 1.5 since that game, the first game against Bradley. Drake has played much better, and Bradley struggles defending the three-point line. I think that could play a factor here. With Drake being at home, I expect them to have a better day offensively here, so we'll lay 1.5 with Drake.
Okay. For my next one, we're going to another SEC matchup at 2:30 tip. Mizzou on the home court taking on Mississippi State. So the way I'm looking at this one, because Mississippi State is coming off of a game where they just beat the brakes off LSU, who gets their brakes beat off by everybody, it feels like. But before that, they were getting run out of the building. Vanderbilt beat them by 40 nearly. A&M beat them by 20. Ole Miss won, and that's not a great Ole Miss team. Alabama beat them by double digits. Now you've got to go on the road to take on Missouri, who is about as inconsistent as they come. You got the win over Auburn. Then they lost to the LSU team that I just mentioned. They lost to Georgia by 2. They beat Oklahoma in overtime. Not the best Oklahoma team. And then they lost on the road against Alabama big. Mississippi State, their scoring is led almost entirely from the guard position. Josh Hubbard, who's been there for a while, he's back, averaging 20 points a game. You've got Epps, the 2-guard, averaging 15 points per game. Neither shoot it well from the outside, though. A lot of it is mid-range and getting to the rim. And Hubbard's a good player. He's been there for a long time. We've seen him in the 8 or 9 seed games in the tournament. Always seems to be putting on a show. But he's 32% from the three-point line. Epps is 30%. Mizzou has the 29th ranked 2-point field goal defense. So they have a lot of size. They have rim protection with Sean Phillips Jr., but their guards are 6'4" and above, lengthy. I think they can make life difficult for Hubbard. I don't know who's going to pick up the slack in the scoring department. And for two guys that do not do it from behind the arc, I think points are going to be tough to come by. So I'm going to lay, I think it's going out to 7.5. I'm going to lay 7.5 points with Mizzou as my second play. And then I've got one more, I guess. For full disclosure, I think it's a decent opportunity to back LSU against South Carolina, who just got absolutely obliterated by Florida. Like a demoralizing, had no shot, 40-point loss. I think LSU, I'm not going to do it. I'll stay away from it, only because that's another team that I don't know what Mac McMahon is doing over there, but it doesn't look good. There's no consistency whatsoever, but they have talent. So I think they have more talent than South Carolina, and even on the road, I don't think it matters. You saw them in the first matchup. South Carolina was up 25. I know how that sounds. But they really figured something out in that second half and were kind of having their way with them and got back in that game. But we'll hold off. So my last play, biggest game of the day, BYU going on the road to take on Kansas. I was looking at this one. We were on – was that an official play that I get, or was that a personal play with Arizona BYU?
I think that was just on your own.
Yeah, okay. So I had action on Arizona BYU. I had eyes on it. Incredible game, at least in terms of the ending. BYU largely got dominated by Arizona to where I was tweeting throughout that game. I'm like, Arizona's making it look like BYU does not even belong on the same court. And then college basketball does what it does best. And somehow BYU erases a double-digit lead with a minute to go, and they have a shot for the win. And they settled on Robert Wright, who's a good player. They settled on him taking the final shot and instead of going to A.J. DeBansa, who's probably going to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. And they missed, and Arizona ends up winning, I think, by 3. They end up getting fouled. So I really wanted to back Kansas in this spot at Fall Allen. But at 4.5, I just don't feel comfortable doing it. I would have rather it be under one possession. At 4.5, I just can't bring myself to do it. And I was very disappointed when I saw the line come out. I wanted Kansas badly in this spot. But I'm not going to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to go under 158.5. It's conflicting styles. Kansas wants to play slow. BYU wants to get out and run and gun. The offense goes through AJ DeBanza, and he struggles to shoot it from the outside. You saw him on Saturday a week ago go for 40+, and that's because he had a good day beyond the arc. So if he is hitting shots from beyond the arc, good luck, because you're not going to be able to guard him then, because he can do everything else pretty damn well. But I'm not holding my breath. I don't think you can rely on the outside shot to consistently fall. Kansas is a top 10 defense in 2-point field goal percentage. They have rim protection with Badunga, and they got a lot of size as well. You got Bryson Tiller, he's like 6'11". They have a ton of size. They are expected to get Darren Peterson back, who's been out for quite some time, or at least in and out of the lineup throughout the entire season. So I think what this is going to turn into is Kansas is going to dictate the pace on their home court. I lean Kansas. I don't have the balls to do it at the number that it's at. I wanted under a possession. But these are two NBA-level guys who you very well could see them start going back and forth, trading buckets and the whole 9 yards. But this BYU offense on paper is really good. I've just seen them a number of times just go really, really cold. If the outside shots aren't falling, DeBanza can be he wants to get to a spot in the mid-range. You can take that away. And I just don't love this BYU team very much. And Arizona, I mean, had their way. And they didn't shoot. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They shot 12 threes, I think, and had 80-plus points. Got to the free throw line a lot. But, yeah, I'm going to go under 158.5. And like I said, I wanted Kansas under possession. Do you have a lean in this one?
Yeah, I mean, not really, because like you said, it kind of feels like these teams might be a little bit closer matchup than the spread indicates, just because, typically maybe this game should be a 4 or 3.5 point spread. So it's stretched a little bit in favor of the home team. For me, I don't like taking teams on the road. It's really laying more than, I just don't like betting road teams much.
Yeah, no, few people go into Fall Allen and come out with a win. It's one of the toughest places.
It could be a close game, and then, at the end, it's Kansas at the foul line to cover.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I just decided I was going to stay away. I thought it maybe should be a little bit less.
I think there are 3.5s beginning to pop, but they're pretty juiced. So, the last road game we saw BYU, they went on the road to Texas Tech, and Texas Tech handled them. And that's a good Texas Tech team. On the road against Utah, which that's not a very good Utah team, if I remember correctly. They won by 5. But we've also seen this Kansas offense go cold as well. Obviously earlier in the season, and it's hit or miss. Is Darren Peterson playing or not? I've never seen somebody sprain their ankle so much. Maybe it's business sprains. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm going to go under 158.5. I'm expecting and hoping that Kansas dictates the pace in this one, because I think Kansas, if BYU makes it a track meet, Kansas has NBA talent on the floor. So if that's what it turns into, they're going to have guys that can finish around the rim and this and that. So we need Kansas to dictate the pace and play their style. And we need BYU to have a tough night shooting the ball. So, that'll be my 3 plays. So to recap, I am going to take Oklahoma in a pick'em, Missouri minus 7.5, and BYU Kansas under 158.5.
We're going to go Houston minus 13.5 and Drake minus 1.5.
There you go. That is our best bets for college basketball Saturday. We got a big weekend ahead. A lot of college basketball games, but like I said, we're back in studio tomorrow to break down Super Bowl 60. The stage is set. Props, sides, totals, everything you're looking for. We've got you covered. I've got a couple bets that I like a lot, so we're going to try to get to the window there as well. Anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Y'all have a good one.
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this good. A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.